Capital News tonight. Meeting in the small town of Maganzo in Kishapu district stopped after disruption. Users of Pemba Isongole Road stranded for 2 days after 3 lorries got stuck in mud caused by ongoing rains. And in sports, Kariako Derby preparations almost complete, game to be played Sunday at National Stadium. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. First, the national news. Residents of the small town of Maganzo in Kishapu district, Shinyanga region have had an open meeting called by ward councillor to listen to their concerns and complaints was disrupted suddenly and electricity cut off. The announcement didn't state percentages, but addressed to small-scale miners. When the exercise began, we saw totally different things. This is a legal meeting, but I just received an order not to go ahead with the meeting. We would like to call upon our dear President to intervene in this matter. If possible, once he is done with his vacation, he should pass by here in Maganzo to see for himself on what is going on. Today we had a legal meeting, but it was called off. Users of Mpemba Isongole Main Road adjoining Tunduma, Ileje, Malawi and Zambia in Tunduma City Council, Momba District, Songwe region have been stranded for 2 days after 3 lorries got stuck in mud due to rains that have been ongoing for 3 days. I have slept here for 3 days. Something needs to be done fast because this road is completely right off. There is nowhere to pass. The situation is very hard. People have been left stranded. Buses are stuck. There is huge traffic. Mind you that not all who are here are well. Some of them are sick. It is indeed a big challenge. The government should do something. All this will end once the road is completed on time. This year's heavy rains have contributed in delays of completion of this road. However, we are calling on the contractor to continue working even in this rain season. The President and Chairman of the Revolutionary Council, Dr. Ali Mohammed Shein, has said that one main reason for the revolution in 1964 was due to discrimination in payment for education to locals. President Shein made the remarks during his address immediately after opening the new building of Biashara Secondary School as part of celebrations for 56 years of Zanzibar's revolutions. Because of humiliations, our leaders decided to have a revolution. When we talk about education, several improvements have been done since 1964 to date, aiming at taking Zanzibar's education system to international level. We must encourage students to be aware of business. Even the prophets did engage in business activities. In schools, they must perform wonders as well. One person known as Abraham Obeid is being detained by the police in Mbeya region after being caught with 66 stamps from various public institutions, including the court, police and bank, which he allegedly used to create fake documents for his financial benefit. We have managed to arrest Mr. Abraham Obeid, 5 years of age, in possession of over 60 stamps for several institutions like NMB Bank, Axis Bank, Roman Catholic Church, among others. All institutions are in Beira region. This shows that this man was an expert in forging documents. After our investigations, we managed to have the man in custody. This man is a former employee of an insurance company, where later on he decided to engage in such criminal activities. The government has listed 6 regions that lead in destruction of natural forests, with 20% of forests in the lake zone destroyed. It has directed all councils in the country to ensure it seeks out people destroying forests, burning charcoal and cutting down timber in the middle of the night. It is important for everybody to realize the magnitude of this problem. What is difficult is that forestry officers are under TAMISEMI, who have left their job of protecting forests and village reserves, thinking that they will be protected by TFS, while TFS are focusing on protecting environment outside the forest. That is why this problem is ongoing. Introduction of bees harvest processing factory in Geita region will support an increasing value and quality of those produce. It is important to continue providing education on proper beekeeping measures to groups and private people. The plan by residents of Arumeru district in Arusha region to build 47 classrooms for over 400 students who passed but did not get selected has been completed by 90% after volunteering to work day and night. As citizens, we have done all we can to accomplish this, but we still do need support in completing construction of these classrooms. I would like to call on our district commissioner to help us so that by 15th of January, our children should start using these classrooms. We decided to take this visit before registration of new pupils on 6th of January with the aim of assessing if the classrooms are enough for the number of pupils to be enrolled in Arusha Council, where we have found out that the construction speed is impressive and there are classrooms that have already been completed. In this case, I am sure that we will be able to accommodate all the pupils. We have witnessed residents' efforts and determination in making sure that their children are going to study in good environment. The construction speed is high and the classrooms have been constructed in good standards. The fishermen living on the islands and on the shores of Lake Victoria have asked the police force in Mwanza to conduct continuous patrols to prevent the theft of fish nets that has been occurring in some islands in the district. Fishermen are suffering. Theft has increased without any efforts of dealing with this problem. We are calling for more security. Our working environment are quite dangerous. We need more security vessels to do patrols in the lake to make sure that fishermen are well protected. The leaders have agreed to introduce community security groups. You should organize yourselves in groups to protect this zone. We will come to increase efforts in securing this area. Also, there must be a visitors book that will allow identification of all visitors. And over 18,000 farmers on the irrigation scheme for rice in Mwanga district in Kilimanjaro region have complained of wear and tear of irrigation infrastructure as well as high cost of inputs, something that has contributed to many farmers not engage in farming the crop due to fear of getting lost.
Nilikuwa nalima kilimo hichi kwa kubahatisha.
I used to farm rice without proper farming skills for this crop. I used to plant up to 7 tins of rice in 1 hectare of farm, but right now I use a few kilograms of seeds in the same farm with marvelous yields.
Kwa kweli skimu ya kivulini na changamoto nyingi. Changamoto ya kwanza kabisa ni miundombinu.
Kivulini scheme is facing a lot of challenges like poor infrastructures, which makes transportation of cost of crops be very high. Farmers fail to get agriculture inputs on time since there are no any financial support in these areas. Honestly, farmers have been getting education on good rice farming from private institutions.
Ushirikiano wetu na Rikoto ni katika
Our collaboration with Rikoto is encouraging value in rice crops in order for farmers to produce good quality rice that reaches TBS standards and standards of East African markets. So far, there is high production of rice with good quality. Soon enough, we will be able to face international markets.
Na ushindani katika masoko ya ndani kwa hapa nchini na nchi za jirani.
And that is the end of national news. International news follows next. Welcome back, and in international news. A man, Omar Onda, aged 27, who is alleged to have returned from the Al-Shabaab militia group, has been shot and murdered by unknown individuals at a Dasabo area in Watamu, coast of Kenya, while returning home from their meeting. I received a phone call around 7 p.m. informing me that my son was shot by unknown people. I drove fast and found my son lying on the floor dead. When I asked who were around, they told me that there was a car that was following him behind, which later on blocked his car and forced him out of his car and shot him 3 times and ran away. We had lunch together today, but later on he received a phone call and went out to meet somebody. But unfortunately, this is what I have to witness at this time. Residents of the northeast of Kenya have urged the government to take emergency action to deal with the locusts which have invaded the area. The locusts entered Kenya through Ethiopia and Somalia, having destroyed over 50,000 acres of samplings and plants. Millions of locusts have invaded grazing land for our cattle. Residents have used all means and efforts in combating these insects, including the usage of local mechanisms in scaring away the locusts. In town, we thought that the forest was on fire. We then decided to run and offer our help, but once we reached there, we found locusts all over the forest. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, New Year's celebrations were held with religious leaders asking leaders to change in 2020 and help the public. From our hearts, people should be ready to change and become good civilians. Let me take this opportunity to send our well wishes to 2 of our officers who were badly injured while protecting peace in the DRC. I thank God for seeing this day, for saying goodbye to 2019 safely and welcome 2020. And that is the end of international news. Business news follows shortly after this break. We'll be right back.
Business Edition, as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production, infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news. For the first time, Tanzania Revenue Authority (TRA) has begun to run a customs auction electronically, with residents of all regions able to participate fully and safely in buying various goods, unlike the previous auction.
Unatakiwa uwe either una simu ambayo simu janja ambayo ni smartphone au
one must have either a smartphone, iPad, tablet or computer, a mobile phone number, email address and TIN number. All these details will allow taxpayers to be identified.
Uwe na namba ya TIN au namba ya utambulisho wa mlipa kodi.
Now, a few days after the government announcing that by 31st December, all cotton farmers whose harvests were taken on loan by various companies be paid, the farmers have yet to be paid the 12.4 billion they are owed.
Kwamba hadi sasa wakulima
So far, farmers owe over 10 million kilograms that were taken by cotton buyers and not yet paid for. All cotton buyers must pay farmers. It is quite sad. For example, in Simiyu region, farmers depend highly on cotton for generating their incomes, while at the same time, farmers suffer to get their right. And small-scale palm farmers in Mahembe suburb Kigoma region have complained of lack of reliable processing factories and markets in the region. They could establish more factories that will use these palm fruits in making other products, since palm oil is a lot in Kigoma region. Many stakeholders have been encouraged in buying palm processing machines for making palm oil, while many are now eager to engage in palm farming. And that is the end of business news. Sports news follows next.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Opposition, Joaquinho, he did lose to Lend.
in sports news. The league board says they have finalized the Kariakoo Derby preparations by a huge percentage, with the game being played at the National Stadium in Dar es Salaam on Saturday.
Ni mchezo kama mingine ya ligi kuu ya Vodacom Tanzania.
This is a game just like any other in the Vodacom Premier League in Tanzania. But due to the history of Tanzania, with regard to these two big teams, when Simba and Yanga meet, more preparation should be done because a lot of spectators and fans will want to watch the game.
Kwa maana ya maandalizi yamekwisha kukamilika.
The National Netball Association Chaneta will for the first time run a youth competition for the under-21st with the aim of selecting players that will participate in the Eastern Central African Championships, which will take place this April in Zanzibar.
We will have an international competition, so we have to have friendly matches before we go to the international competition. I haven't checked to see how many friendlies we are going to have in our calendar and against who, but we need to have the matches before we go to the big competition, which will be of Africa.
Now, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has responded to speculation suggesting that he could soon head out of Arsenal by stating that he is 100% here.
News regarding the Gabonese striker's future have built steadily over recent weeks. The January transfer window is now open, with it possible that official approaches could be made before the end of the month. La Liga giants Barcelona among those to have been linked with Aubameyang, while Serie A title hopefuls Inter are another of his reported suitors. It is easy to see why the 30-year-old frontman will be attracting admiring glances from afar.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic is delighted to be home after arriving to undergo a medical ahead of his return to AC Milan.
The Swede will sign a 6-month contract with an option for another year with the Rossoneri after touching down at Linate Airport in Milan on Thursday. The 38-year-old striker was available on a free transfer after deciding to end a 2-year stint with MLS side LA Galaxy. Ibrahimovic represented Milan from 2010 until 2012, winning the Scudetto and Supercoppa Italiana, and expressed his pleasure at securing a second stint.
And Paul Pogba will definitely be a Manchester United player at the end of the season, says Clayton Blackmore, with the former Red Devils a star, seeing a World Cup winner staying at Old Trafford for a few years yet.
Questions regarding the Frenchman's future have resurfaced with another transfer window now open. Pogba finds himself back on the sidelines in 2020, having already missed a large chunk of the season with a niggling ankle problem, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is having to cope without an £89 million asset. It has been suggested that United will move on completely if a suitable offer is tabled, but Blackmore cannot see a buyer being found in January for a midfielder who may require surgery.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin for tonight. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. Thank you for watching and good night.